I usually don't do anything for Halloween. I'm not into costumes or parties, so most years I just stay home and treat it like a normal night. Last year was different though. Not because I planned anything, but because a couple of my friends convinced me to go out with them. It wasn't anything big, just the four of us driving around, killing time. Maybe checking out a place people always talked about but never really went to. A few days before Halloween, my friend Jason texted me and asked if I wanted to come with him to this road just outside of town. I had heard about it before. It runs through a wooded area, and there are a few abandoned houses along it. People always said weird things happen there at night, but I never took it seriously. It just sounded like the kind of story people make up to make a place seem more interesting than it actually is. I didn't think much of it at first, but I didn't have anything better to do either, so I said yes. On Halloween night, I met up with them around 9. Jason was driving, Mark was in the front seat, and I got in the back with Daniel. We were all joking around at first, talking about how we'd probably drive all the way out there just to see a couple of broken houses and nothing else. No one actually expected anything to happen. The drive started out normal. There were still people outside, kids walking around in costumes, houses with decorations, the usual Halloween stuff. But the further we got from town, the less of that we saw. The houses started getting farther apart. The street lights became less frequent, and eventually it was just us on a dark road with nothing around. When Jason turned onto the road, you could immediately tell the difference. The pavement was rough and uneven, and there were cracks everywhere with weeds growing through. Trees lined both sides of the road, and their branches stretched out over it, making it feel more closed in. It didn't look like a place people used anymore. We kept driving for a few minutes without saying much. It was already quieter than before, but then the fog started to roll in. At first it was just a thin layer near the ground, but it got thicker the further we went. Jason had to slow down a bit because it was getting harder to see ahead. We passed one house on the left side. It was small and completely dark, with broken windows and an overgrown yard. It didn't look like anyone had been there in a long time. Mark joked about going inside, but no one actually suggested stopping. After a while, Jason pulled over and turned off the engine. The headlights stayed on, lighting up a short stretch of the road in front of us. But everything beyond that was just darkness and fog. We all got out of the car. Right away, something felt off. It wasn't just that it was quiet. It was too quiet. There were no insects, no wind, nothing moving at all. The air felt colder than it should have been. And it had this heavy feeling to it, like everything was just still. At first, we just stood there for a bit, looking around. No one said anything for a few seconds, which was unusual for us. Then Mark broke the silence and said we should walk a little further down the road. So we did. We stayed close together and just walked straight ahead. At first, we tried to keep talking like normal, but the conversation died pretty quickly. It just didn't feel right to be loud out there. We had probably been walking for a couple of minutes when we heard the first sound. It came from somewhere in the trees to our right. It was faint, like something moving through leaves or stepping on small branches. We all stopped at the same time. No one said anything right away, we just listened. The sound stopped too. After a few seconds, Mark said it was probably just an animal, and that made sense. There are deer and other stuff out there, so it wasn't that weird. We started walking again. A few seconds later, we heard it again. This time it sounded closer. Not just movement, but actual footsteps. They were slow and spaced out, like whatever it was wasn't in a hurry. We stopped again. The footsteps stopped too. That's when it started to feel strange. Animals don't usually move like that, and they don't stop at the exact same time you do. Jason turned toward the trees and tried to shine his phone light into them. But the fog and darkness made it hard to see anything clearly. We stood there for maybe 10 seconds, just staring into the woods. But there wasn't nothing visible. Then Jason said we should head back to the car. No one argued. We turned around and started walking back the way we came, a little faster this time. At first, everything was quiet again. Then the sound came back. This time, it was on the other side of the road. Same type of footsteps, same slow pace. But now, it was keeping up with us. That's when it stopped feeling like coincidence. We didn't say anything, but we all picked up the pace. The footsteps did too. Still not running, but faster, keeping the same distance, just inside the trees where we couldn't see clearly. Jason said we should just run. As soon as he said that, we all started running toward the car. The sound changed immediately. It got louder. Branches snapping, leaves moving, something pushing through the trees. And it was definitely moving faster now. We reached the car and got in as fast as we could. Jason started the engine without even closing his door all the way at first, then slammed it shut and hit the gas. As the headlights pointed down the road, I looked toward the trees on the right side. For For a split second, I saw something moving between them. It was tall, too tall to be a person, and it was moving toward the road. Jason sped up, and we started driving back the way we came. No one said anything. After a few seconds, I turned around and looked out the back window. At first, I didn't see anything. Then I saw it. It wasn't in the trees anymore. It was on the road, running behind the car. Its movement didn't look normal. Its legs looked too long, and the way it moved didn't match a person or an animal. It was keeping up with the car for a few seconds, which didn't make any sense at all. Then suddenly it just stopped. It didn't slow down. It just stopped completely. We kept driving and didn't look back again. When we finally reached the main road, Jason slowed down, and that's when Daniel asked what that thing was. No one had an answer. We didn't go back there after that. A couple of days later, I looked up that road online, out of curiosity. I found a few posts from people talking about similar experiences, hearing footsteps, something following them just out of sight, always staying in the trees. One detail showed up more than once. People said whatever it was never followed them all the way out. It always stopped near the end of the road, like it wasn't leaving that area, or like it didn't need to. I don't go out on Halloween anymore. Not because I believe in stories like that, but because I don't think that was just a story.